Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another episode of The Iron Temple. I wanted to talk about how music impacts your soul slash spirit. So I've been working out for probably like 15 years. That's so long. I'm so old. But, I've been working out, so I've listened to a lot of music. Like, I've only worked out maybe for like 4 years with somebody else. Like, most of the time I'm working out by myself. And during that time, I've been listening to a ton of music. Like, my musical tastes have changed considerably over the years. Like, when I was growing up, I only listened to K-Love, which is like a Christian radio station, and my sister would like listen to country, and I'd be like, that's evil! And she'd listen to like Britney Spears when Britney Spears was first coming out. I'm like, that's so evil! You need to not do that! And then I started to listen to like 98.1 is the name of the radio station in Alaska, which is weird that I know that. That's like 20 years ago. Even longer than that, like 25 years ago. And that's like secular music. That's like Eminem and like 50 Cent and like all of those guys way back when in like the 90s. I was listening to them. Now, I would listen to that, I would do all of that, and then as I started like working out, and when I moved to Arizona, I was listening to like a lot of AC/DC, a lot of Metallica, a lot of just like really, not like heavy metal, but like what I would consider like metal, hard rock, rock and roll, kind of that stuff. I should probably get some sort of set in as opposed to just sitting here talking. So, I'm doing 245s on either side. And this bar's 25, so it's 205. And I don't really have my wrist straps on correctly. But the wrist straps are actually really good for keeping your wrist straight. And it helps you lift a little bit heavier. And then I have something that I want to show you guys that helps you lift a whole lot heavier. And I'm freaking excited about it. But anyway, so I would listen to like Metallica and... Oh gosh, hold on. Let me get through this. Hey, I did 12. That was pretty cool. Okay. I almost blacked out for a second. That was cool. Okay, so I would listen to like the hard rock. And what I noticed is it would make me very angry. Like, I told people I had to stop listening to it because I was just so angry all of the time. And like, nothing I could do would shake it. I don't know if it's the supplements that I was taking, which is only like a protein, and it came in like a green bag. And I told the guy it looks like dog food, and he's like, I got some dogs to feed. I was like, that's a pretty cool line, not gonna lie. It stuck with me for like 20 years. But I would just get so angry. And it got me thinking, today, like I was kind of reminiscing on that, and I think the Holy Spirit said, hey, talk about music. Now, when I first started this series, when I was just like working out, all I would listen to was like dubstep, electronic techno, and stuff by like, Shaq. And some of that stuff would be like vulgar. And what I've noticed is ever since I like rededicated my life to Christ, I don't really like being around people who cuss. Like, I used to cuss like a sailor, and now it's very minimal. Like, I know you guys don't know anything about that because I don't cuss on my channel, but it's very minimal. But beforehand, holy moly, literally every other word was a curse word, and I'd say it just to say it. So I'm gonna show you guys this real quick while I still have my train of thought. If you've never seen one of these, it's based off of the Slingshot by Mark something. Bell? Maybe? I don't know. But literally what you do is you just put your hands through it, and then when you bench, it gives you a little bit of added resistance down at the bottom. I'm gonna tell you, I benched 300 pounds the other day for 3 reps without even breaking a sweat and not even caring. I was just like, holy cow, dude, this is so easy. So I might do another 300 pounds because that's a freaking cool number to rep. But anyway, so I'm sitting there thinking about it, and some people like disagree with this, and some people will say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory or whatever. But when Satan, aka Lucifer, was in heaven, he was supposedly the choir director, for lack of a better term. And he was like, why do all these angels worship God? I want them to worship me. And that's where the whole start of the pride thing came in. But if you sit back and really think about it, that is his specialty. If you want to learn how to kick somebody in the face, you're going to go to somebody who kicks people in the face for a living and say, teach me what it is that you do. And they're going to be very good at it. Like Bruce Lee said, I don't fear the guy who's trained 10,000 ways to kick, but the guy who trained one kick 10,000 different times. So you have this eternal being who, even before time started, his job was to make music. Think of how much practice that individual has for an eternity, right? Well, he's not really timeless. I guess the angels were created because God's the only one that's timeless. But you get my point. Like, he's been around a very long time. Even if history just saying from the beginning of the world to now, he's had a ton of different times. Even if you believe if you believe in evolution and you believe in the angels, or you believe in creation, like the 7 days of creation, it's still either between, 7,000, 4, 5, 6, 7,000 years, over a million, whatever. Long story short, it's a ton of time. Look at all of the music that is happening today that influences everything around you. I mean, look at like Taylor Swift's music. Like, people are like, oh, she's good at this. Like, I think music is just so impactful. And I've always been the kind of person that is impacted by music. Like, music will determine how I feel. If I say I need to get into a good mood, I'll sit there and listen to happy music. Or if I say, I want to get angry, I'll listen to angry music. So be very, very careful about what it is that you put inside of your mind. Like, that's literally what it is. So that's just the thought that came to my mind today, as this is $295. Let's add another 2.5 and make it an even 300, shall we? But just be very, very careful about the stuff that's going into your mind, right? Like the Bible says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and things of the air. So you have to be very, very careful and very, very diligent and very, very discerning, and putting on that whole armor of God and saying, there is something at work here. It's not the guy that's at work that's trying to make your life a living nightmare, or it's not the person that cuts you off in traffic. It's not any of that stuff, but it's literally what you're putting in front of your eyes, what you're putting inside of your ears, what you're putting inside of your body. Alcohol, that's my personal struggle that you guys know about. So it's definitely be diligent and be able to discern it and say, okay, does this make me feel a certain type of way? Or is this inviting something that I don't really want inside of my life? But what do you guys think? That's just the thought that came to my head that I feel like the Spirit told me to talk about. This is 500 pounds. 500? No, 300. I'm gonna teach you guys how to do this. This thing is stinking sick. So I did 205. I did 205 for like 10 or 11, which is insane, because I think literally just benching 300 pounds 4 times really helped out with this. Really helped out with that. So what I do is I tend to put it right above my elbow, and I need to put music on for this. But also, that's my second point. The only thing I can listen to now is Christian music. I tried listening to like my old music, and it just doesn't sit right. It doesn't feel good. And everything in my playlist is now Christian. Like, I'm listening to It Is Well With My Soul. I'm listening to like all of these like light melodic kind of things. And I'm still getting the same workout, and I feel like I'm getting stronger. And also when I'm struggling on a bench, help me God, I could do all things through Christ who strengthens me is kind of the verse that comes to my mind. So see, that's all you're doing is you're just making it. And this is I'll put the link in the description or something if I can remember it. But this thing's only like 20 bucks. And just the amount of lift you get from it is insane. Watch, I'm gonna do 300 pounds. And normally my max is 350. All right, I'm gonna put at least a little stop on it. That way I don't die. I just don't want it to get into my range of motion. I got this, God's got me. I trust him. Remind me to tell you guys about a guardian angel story. Man, this thing stinks though, I'll tell you that much. It is insane. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Holy cow though. 5 reps at 300 pounds. And my one rep max is 350 when I was 207 pounds. I'm 200 pounds right now. 202? 20 something? I need to finish off my set. But I was 201.6 today. The guy just asked me if I needed a spot. No, sir. I got the God of the universe spot. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. God gives you a brain to use it. But, so here's the thing about guardian angels. But I was sitting here and I was doing an incline bench, and I had 2 plates on it, so I had 205. And I was doing some leg drive, which helps immensely. Like, you'll add some weight to your lifts, and that's when you push up. But because the bench was slanted like this, when I went, I pushed myself backwards. So as I was trying to go up with an incline bench, all of it moved forward. And I was like, oh my goodness. And miraculously it stopped as I was like here, and I was able to push it up. But I firmly believe that that was God. I firmly believe that that was God doing an intervention so I wouldn't die. Ugh. Anyway, I'm gonna finish this out and see what else God wants me to talk about. Maybe I'll bring you guys around for a PR. Maybe I'll do 400 pounds. Who knows? So if I need help with a lift off, and then that's pretty much it. I should be able to get it because I did 300 for 5, but I am in the middle of my set. 350, let's try this. All right. Don't be afraid to get close, man. I don't want to die. 3, 2. Do you help? No. I'll do this. Easy. That is easy. I could have probably got 2 for that. All right. Well, I know that I can do 350 with that. So I'm gonna put 2 plates on and then a 25. And then I'll finish out my set. Next week I have a special guest that is coming on, and I'm really, really excited. But I got some questions to ask, so if you have questions that you want to ask any guest, just put it in the comments. That way I can start feeding them to the guest. And it's going to be anything that you have questions on, anything that you have questions on for the Bible, anything that you have questions on for life according to biblical standards, etc. I was only doing 50 pounds. So I'm still only doing 6 sets per body part per day, and it's working pretty well. I feel like it's putting some insane like size and definition on me, but I also like old school Hurley shirts because they make your whole top part look bigger, and it's looser in like the midsection, which is nice for when you're like bulking, but when you're on the heavier side of your body frame. But what's prevalent in the gym today is everybody wearing super short shorts and basically like bras. And as Preston Morrison said, to look at it the first time isn't a sin, you're seeing it, but every second after that you're looking, and that's where the sin comes in. And I said that's a pretty good rule of thumb. It's like, hey, you can look at it. Like he was talking about how he was driving through a city and there was like some protester out there like naked in the street, and it was like a lady or something, and so he like turned and looked and he saw nudity and he looked away, and then he didn't look after that. So seeing it isn't bad. It's when you start to dwell on it. And I guess that maybe kind of goes also to the verse that says where your mind is, there your heart will be also. So focus on what it is that you're focusing on and say, man, I really want to get an athletic girl or an athletic boy, and I really want to do that. And I really want to be with someone who, you know, looks good and takes care of their body. And yes, that is awesome. But you know, like if you go to the hospital and they can't work out for 6 months, then their body's gone. So when you have your love on something that is, when you love a person for what they bring to the table and not just for who they are, that means that you have a conditional love. And once that's gone, like, oh, they have a nice car. Cars come and go. Money comes and go. Are you going to be in love with that person when they're at their absolute lowest? I think that was a very, very, very important lesson. But yeah, just focusing on, you know, the lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. That's prevalent in the gym, whether you're a guy or a girl. Because, you know, you're at the gym, there's people who are taking care of their body, and you can say, okay, yeah, I appreciate that body, but then once you start lusting, that's when it's a problem. So just be very, very careful. Be very careful about what you focus on. Like if you focus on, I need a girl, I need a girl, I need a girl, how many times are you praying? How many times are you saying, I need a good relationship with God? How many times are you saying, I need to fix my relationship with God? As opposed to, God, just give me a girl. Just give me a girl and everything will be fine. Everything's not going to be fine. Work on yourself, your mind, body, and spirit first, and then you'll be pretty good. So I'm going to stop right here.